So when I started collecting styrofoam, I bought to start collecting styrofoam, because that's where you start collecting, of course. They're gone now, but Spirit is a fine replacement in my opinion. But to go to the point, what was in that box was a Carnosaur, a Saurus Carnosaur. Could build it as a Scarveteran Carnosaur or a Skink or Troglodon. I made Skink or Troglodon. 10 Saurus Warriors, and the point of this video, 8 Saurus Knights. Now, when I got out of the hobby, a bit after that, and when I got, between the time when I went out and when I got back in, the Saurus Knights were gone and nowhere to be found, which was really sad, because that meant that a good portion of my army was just gone. But as I was scrolling today on the GW web store, as one does, I saw something oddly familiar. The Aggradon Warriors, I believe they're called. It's a squad of 3, and they're pretty much the same as Saurus Knights were. The scopes are a bit different, yes, but I am determined to make something of at least a portion of these Saurus Knights. So what I'm gonna do today is I am going to be making these 3 into a squad of Aggradon Lancers for my army, so that I at least have something back into my army, and I will have still a remnant of some old scopes, which I do kind of like, in my army. So the first step, of course, is priming, which I didn't do yet on these. What I want to do though is first make the bases. Actually, something worth looking at. The only reason why I didn't do that with the skinks is because there's 30 of them. I'm probably just going to be using texture paint because I'm lazy. But what I will be doing here is the same as what I did on this guy, the Skink Oracle Troglodon, which I'm actually pretty proud of how it turned out. But what I did here on the bases was I used a sort of sand on the base coated with glue, and it leaves behind a nice texture, which I will then just be painting with a mud color, so that I have actually quite a nice base, which I am a fan of, which I will be also using on these 3 guys, on these 3 boys, so that they will be a worthwhile addition in my new army. So let me do the bases and I will be back, since I can't record that here, since it will make a mess, which I won't do here. So I will be right back when I'm done. This is what it looks like when everything's set and primed. Upgrades from last time, you're actually getting to see a pretty decent POV of the miniatures themselves. So what I've done here is I have put some, het heet schelpenzand. I don't really know how it's called in English and stuff. On the base, underneath some thick glue, so that you get a bit of these hills, as you can see. And then I just waited till it dried, and I primed them. And now you got this kind of sand. Now you got this sandy texture on the bases. And I actually really like how these look. And after this is I find this way I've done this looks better on small bases than it does on big ones, since on big ones you might miss a spot with the glue, and this glue specifically you can't really apply a next layer, because if you do, you get all the sand and all the stuff in this in the brush, since you need to dispense it with a brush, and you can't really use it isn't like this, you know, like the plastic glue, which has the little thing you can just push it out. So that isn't how it works. So what I'm gonna do now, I don't really have a recipe in mind for these. So what I'll probably do is I will make these raptors, I would say red, because I like red and I think it's a nice contrast to blue. I also still have those Pterodon riders. I think I am going to make them just the box art green. From what I'm envisioning right now. But I want to experiment by making these 3 red, and if that doesn't work, I have still a whole bunch more where that came from. So I will make these guys red. I will finish those, and if I don't like the color, I can repaint it, or even in emergencies, I can just make a complete other squad of 3. So that's my plan now. So let's go over the palette real quick, because for red, I'm gonna be using the Mephiston red, of course, the official GW Citadel of color red, one of the better reds. I will probably be mixing it with some Flash Kids yellow to make an orange, to have a bit more variety than just it being red all across. Maybe I'm gonna be using a contrast paint Blood Angels red, of course, to make some recesses darker. But that's the plan right now. I'm gonna use these 2 colors mainly. I'm gonna be using, of course, the same recipes with the skinks, but then I'm gonna be making this the top layer and this the recesses, to differentiate the saurus from the skinks and make them actually unique to each of them. And yeah, I'm gonna try this on, I think this one, I'm gonna try this on one of these, and we will see how satisfied I will be with the end result, or at least the base coat, because if I don't like the color, I will just switch to a green or in another color, but we will see. So see you then. So what I have now here, this boy, the head is still a bit thin on paint, but it doesn't really matter. I do like how this blending turned out. The tail is a bit too red for my taste. So as I was painting this and I saw the colors coming together, I thought of something. I thought of the scheme I want to use. What my plan is now is to make the hide this color, a bit dark orange. You can still see sometimes a yellow streak here and there, which I do kind of like. So what I will do is I will use this as the scales, and I will actually make a red color, like a truly red color, the scales, and this will be the hide. That's my plan now. So what I'm gonna do now then is probably finish this head and continue to these guys. It's looking very nice right now, so I will probably do another time lapse or not. I don't know yet. Okay, base coating takes a while without an airbrush, but the raptors, I would say, are done, at least base coat. I like how they look, and since they that wasn't and since these aren't skinks, I believe the camera will have a better way of focusing, which is great. since you guys can actually see what I did now. I actually really like how these look now. Next step is probably the saurus. But oh boy, let me tell you one thing, and that's that these kits, I'm not a fan of these kits. Now that I'm painting them again, I see all the gaps and just gashes where the mold it didn't want to fit together, and you kind of have to force it. Oh boy, the memories are coming back, but at least they are gonna be looking good painted. So I will base coat the sauruses. This is the first time I am painting sauruses in general, so this might be a bit wonky, but we will see. And I will see you when I'm done. They just pop. You have the red and then the light blue on top. They just have it's a nice contrast. I actually like this. Oh. This was the correct option, definitely. This looks so nice. So next step is probably, it is almost 4 o'clock, and what I'm gonna do now is probably make the scales on both the mounts and the lizard man, the warriors themselves. And after those scales, it's detail time, and then they're done. And yeah, the bases. I will have to make the bases. I'm probably gonna make them the same kind of brown, muddy brown. I really like this though. It's nice. Now let's hope I don't fuck it up when I'm gonna make the scales. See you then. Ooh, what a beauty! I have done a quick dry brush on the scales on the warriors. It looks really nice. I like this. It hasn't ruined the contrast, I feel. Just the scales are now dark blue, which is the opposite of the skinks, which I do really like. Yeah, so that was like what I had in mind for the sauruses. I have no idea what color I want to make these scales on the mounts themselves. I might, let me show you guys, I might want to make them a bit black or gray by mixing them, a white and a black. But I don't know if that will ruin the contrast, because it's dark blue on black, which will make it look weird, I think. So what I might just want to do is make them a red, but I think that's a bit too samey for the main hide. I think that might be a bit just more of the same, which is also not cool. So what I am going to do is probably just gonna make them black, and I will tone it down. If it's too black, I will mix in some white and coat over it. So that's the plan, and when the scales are done, it's gold, and then we're done. Finito, but almost, actually. I keep forgetting the bases. But these bases I will actually do in contrast to the skinks, because these are just 3 guys. I will do these. And when I'm done with those, I might have actually smashed these 3 out in about an hour, which is pretty quick for me. So, see you. So, what I have realized whilst making the black scales, which I do like, is that I'm literally making the box art. At least for the most part. The box art of the Aggradon Lancers, I still don't know how to pronounce the name. Something with angry, since they have tokens that make them angry and stuff. But they have just a normal colored lizardman or seraphon, saurus warrior, that's the name, on him, which I'm also making, since I'm making a normal blue colored seraphon army on a reddish orange mount with a black scales. So I'm literally making the box art. Doesn't matter, mine will still be different since this is another sculpt. And honestly, I like how this looks. Now we will just have to do this 2 more times. But if these 2 times will be as successful as the first time, it will be a good time. I'm done with the scales, and they look really nice. I like this. I like this a lot. I like this even more. Because it's the first one, it was the best. Oh well, but these are also really nice. I like these. This is great. This is actually, there are only 3 guys, but these have so much. This is the first time I'm really painting something different than just infantry. I have painted those skinks you've seen. I also have a pretty decent sized saurus army, but all I have painted of those are battle sisters, Seraphim, Zephyrin, all the infantry stuff. This is the first time I'm actually painting something bigger than just an infantry, and I love this. This is great. Onto the gold. See you when I'm done with the gold, and then all should be just coming together, and it should just be awesome. Great. Okay, so I just finished with all the gold details, and it took a while since I had to take a break to cook some dinner and stuff, and I decided to make this entire main part of the flag also gold, because I think it looks nice, and then I can make the feathers all different colors, but yeah, so I've made the bolts on the spine gold. I've decided to make the headdress a combination of being actual bones of them and just gold, which I believe it's meant to be. This guy is looking pretty cool. So what I am probably going to be doing is finishing the weapons and shield, coloring in the saddle, and then I'm pretty much done. Make the flag. So now it's all the tiny details on all of them. So that's what I'm gonna do now, and check back in when I'm done. see here, all the details done. Well, everything except for one thing. And those are the bases. So the bases I will do, the feathers I will do as well, because I just see that I have missed them, and then then it's done. Poof. So I will be right back after I finished these. Probably not gonna make time lapse this time, but yeah, I will be back. So after rimming the base, this is the final result. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I love how these turned out. They look beautiful in my opinion, in my humble opinion, not biased by the way. I have made the base with Rhydrox hide, so they look a bit leathery. Well, they don't look a bit leathery, honestly, they look like mud, which is what I wanted to go for. This went great. So I now have another 220 points to my army, which is a great success. And if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please, please support me by doing all the pleasantries, you know, like, subscribe, whatever. And if you don't do it, don't. So, see you next time.